Hi, I'm Kim Vogel with the Evelo team at Keller Williams Realty here with Lauren Bauer.
Hello.
And we are here to talk to you guys about steps to selling your home, the current market, as we're holding one of our first seller seminars. So we were going to just quickly take you guys through some of the listing information we share with all of our clients at listing appointments, open up some questions for you guys to ask us something that we might not have covered or something that's at top of mind, and just guide you guys through the steps that we would anybody, especially in this market that has changed a little bit since the last couple of years, and walk you guys through that.
All right. So that was basically our welcome. So we're just stick this page. So just a little bit about the Evelo team and us in general. So our team was started by Stephanie and Derek Evelo. They've been in the business for decades. One of our missions as a team is to make a difference, change lives, and leave a legacy. So we're all very passionate about assisting our community and helping them with their time, talents, and treasures. And then a little bit more about us. Here's our whole team. I am a senior realtor partner, and I've been with the team for 4.5 years.
And I am a realtor as well that has been with the team for almost 3 years now. And we have 8 other agents. We have 10 total agents on our team. We have some ops support. We have some assistants that help us with the listing process, the pending process, just management of everything that encompasses the whole process. And this is some of them.
Just another thing about us is part of our mission is to make a difference. So with we contribute some of our commissions to these following charities.
Awesome. And we'll share some more kind words with you guys, but there's just some snippets of just positive experiences clients have had with us. But we're first going to walk you guys through the steps, which are the most important, kind of the meat and potatoes of our whole seminar here.
Yep. So ideally, so you're thinking about selling. So the first step would be to meet with agents. We always recommend to meet with a few agents just to see what everyone has to offer, just so you get the best advice for your home and for yourselves and what works best for you. After you meet with the agent, you decide who you want to go with. This is where you would determine the price. So right now, like we've said before, the market has changed a little bit. The past few years, it's been pretty much put your house up and it'll sell in a day and you don't really have to do anything. Exactly. It could be hours. But right now where we're at is you do need some of that strategy, and you do need an agent who knows what they're doing and can help you, guide you through. Homes are still selling very quickly. It is still a seller's market. But
each area is a little bit more curated now.
Exactly. So determining that basically is what kind of market you're in is why you need a great agent. And that will help determine the price of where we put it at. So once we kind of come up with determining the price, that's kind of looking at comps. So going through the numbers with you and seeing what other houses have sold for recently. Because if you go back a year, it's going to be completely different than what it is today. So someone who knows that and going through those steps and looking at the comps to see, okay, where's the best price to list right now that will get you the most activity.
The sweet spot.
Yep. The most activity and getting your house sold quickly and for the most money. So once we determine that price with you, we prepare your home for sale. So we will go over all the different areas of how to prepare your home for sale. But things like, decluttering and painting, doing some maintenance, those types of things. We'll go over that a little bit later. So that's the big chunk of things to do is prepare your home for sale. And your agent should help you with that. So they should come over and say, hey, exactly, take this down, or let's move this around and help you with that. And then once your home is prepared for sale, that's when we will list and market your home. And then Kim will go through the rest of those steps.
Yeah, so with listing and marketing your home, we arrange for professional listing photos to be taken. I also personally do listing videos for all of my properties. I do them for some of the team as well. That's a real standout feature that we provide to everyone, not just luxury homes that most agents don't do. And then obviously we market the home heavily on social media, heavily online, through all the various different syndicated real estate platforms and so on. And then once it's marketed, once it's active, you will start to see those showings roll in. And the showings are managed totally electronically. We have a lockbox on your property that we install on the day that we sign or install the sign that helps you manage the showings from wherever in the world you are easily from your phone. I'll get a request and you'll get a request. And we'll hopefully get several that come in. Typically the first couple weeks, you get your most amount of showings that you're going to get through the whole process. And hopefully we get an offer after maybe at least 10 showings. We always say for every 10 showings, you should receive one offer if your location, price, condition are all in line and all correct. So when we review those offers, that's something that you have a lot of conversations with your agent, either over text, email, call, whatever your preferred method of communication is. And we negotiate which one, or we figure out which one's best. We negotiate with whoever we choose to proceed with. If there's multiple offers, we'll break that down for you as far as what you're going to net, why an offer is stronger than others. And obviously it's not always black and white. It's not just this is the highest sales price, so this is the best offer. There's a lot of things at play there that we talk to you about that can help your overall net goal, the overall ease and simplicity of just getting the deal done. And we'll dive in with you a little bit harder on that later. But that's something that we definitely is probably one of the most important parts of the process, right? Because that is the penultimate goal. We're trying to get the best offer for you to get it sold. Inspection and appraisal happens as soon as you go under contract. That's all ordered very quickly. Inspections usually within the first couple of days after you've accepted an offer and that earnest money is deposited. And the inspector will come out just like a traditional showing, book a window, the clients will come back with him, take a couple hours, inspect the home, and then they'll send us an inspection response. And that's another point where you go back with your agent, we talk about strategy, best way to negotiate with them, whether we're going to agree, meet them in the middle, or not do any of the requests because we talked through, we don't think we need to do certain ones or whatever. But that can all be different depending on each deal. And then once we get through inspection, we get through appraisal. Hopefully there's no issues there. If there are, we have strategies and protocol in place for how we handle things like that. Then we get to closing day. And that is where we all celebrate and switch over keys.
All right. So now we're going to go into, okay, we have never sold a house before. We don't know what we're doing. What's the most important thing? So this is what we recommend to do to prepare your home to list. So we have a lot of different items here. So number one thing is improve your curb appeal. So that's the first impression of your home. You want it, someone to pull up and say, oh, wow, I love this house. That make the front door inviting, make sure there's fresh flowers down. If your house is in need of a paint job, probably do that.
Fresh paint does wonders.
So definitely do all that, just so people are like, I want to go in this house and I want to see what it's like. Besides that, cleaning the exterior, clean out your gutters out, just typical home maintenance, pressure wash, check the condition of your mailbox, things like that. Along with that, with making your home maintenance priority, change out those air filters, change those light bulbs, make sure everything has been serviced recently. If you're
get ahead of the problems before they're a problem.
Exactly. So just make it look, even if you have not had any inspection or you serviced for 10 years, do it before you list so that they can see, oh, these people took care of their home and they've had it serviced. Because me as an agent, I will go and I will check the air filters and I will do things like that just to see, okay, how has this house been maintained? And
agents they're going to think about things to do that you might not as well. So you want to be ahead of any potential things that could be uncovered.
Exactly. And along with kind of doing that maintenance, one thing that we always encourage is to declutter and to depersonalize. So clean out those closets, thin those closets out, rent probably a storage unit if you have to. I know I have 4 kids and we have lots of things in our house. So, if I were to move, I would probably try and get rid of some of those and put those in storage and try to just make things as livable for us, but as clean as possible. And we always will recommend when we walk through your house, what kind of things to, perhaps put in storage or perhaps put in the garage somewhere where it's out of sight. Along with that is to be personalized. So if you're one that has lots of family photos on the walls and knickknacks and things like that, we always recommend to take those down just so that the buyer can picture themselves in the house and not you in the house.
And for safety.
And for safety too. Yep. And again, organizing closets and drawers, cleaning things off countertops, all of that, just to kind of make it look as clean as possible. And again, so buyers can imagine themselves in the home. One last thing is just if your house has a lot of fun colors in it, the bright blues, the reds and everything like that, it might be the best thing to do to just kind of take the color down a notch and maybe paint it a neutral color. If that's not in the budget, there are other ways to go about things, but if you can do it, and if it's only one room, we highly recommend painting it.
People like to start with their own canvas.
Exactly.
So yeah, so to continue on those points, just clean, 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 and clean some more. Everybody wants that clean canvas, whether it's fresh paint or just a clean surface, because typically, even if the house is in perfect condition and seems super clean, a buyer is still going to want to deep clean the house when they move in most of the time. So help them get ahead of that so that that house feels even more appealing. It just feels fresh and sparkly clean, because everybody likes that bright, shiny new car smell in their home as well. Tackling the kitchen, of course, is important, because that's where we keep some of our most stuff. And we want to clean the counters, clean the pantry, make sure smells are not a thing in the kitchen and in the entire house, period. Neutralizing smells is very important. Same with bathrooms. Tackle the bathrooms the same way you would the kitchen. Neutralize and declutter those bedrooms, change light bulbs, light fixtures, fire alarms. You don't want to hear chirping during showings. That is the worst. I've encountered that many times. You probably have too, but you just want to make sure those little things that you would notice, are taken care of, because the things you notice are going to be probably just scraping the surface of maybe what an agent or a buyer might be looking for when they really focus on this potentially being a home they want to buy. You want to simplify straight line surfaces. So if you have tables, lots of tables throughout the house, definitely don't want them to be super cluttered, because the photos are going to look better and the showings are going to look better without that kind of clutter. And again, back on the odor point, eliminate bad odors, because nobody wants a house that smells a certain way that is not fresh. Just like a new car, when you go to sell a car, it smells like smoke. You're never going to be able to trade it in for as much money as you could if it smelled good. So in order to get you the most money for your house, that same feeling or point still applies.
All right. So kind of along with preparing your house to list, it just goes a little bit further into how to prepare your house for the photographer. So once your house is clean and decluttered and everything like that, and you've done your work, and we come and we said, okay, everything looks great, this is how you can get ready for the photographer. So things like, making sure all the lights are on, opening all the blinds, making sure cars are not parked in front of the house so we can get the best exterior shot for you, making all the beds, making sure they're tidy. If your kids' toys are out, making sure they're put away or organized nicely, things like that. Just like you would right before a showing is how it should be right before the photographer gets there. Like, again, remove all the garden tools from the yard, make sure there's no hoses around, make sure your kid's bike's not laying in the driveway, things like that. Just make it the best you can and as clean as possible. Just so
as close to a model home as possible. That's the goal, right?
Exactly. Easier said than done, but
it's usually just a couple short, painful weeks of having to keep your house this clean until it's sold. If you price it right and you trust your agent and follow their recommendations.
Exactly. All right.
So, and yeah, digital marketing, that's a huge part of what we do. That's what you have to do with selling homes these days, because everybody is on the internet looking for their home to buy. So your digital marketing appearance is extremely important. So we ensure that your home is presented in that best possible light to the greatest number of people with integrated touch points, very in-depth marketing campaigns to hit the most amount of people. And this is just a snapshot of some of our Facebook ads that we run and some of the amount of people that they hit. The one on the top left hit 54,000 plus people. Some of them, hit a little bit less. It just depends, right? We know the algorithms. We play with those algorithms to try to give you guys the most clicks and most interest. Multiple times I have had clients tell me that these ads are the reason that they saw the house that they ended up buying that was our listing or whatever. So these are very key. Targeted ads work with everything, including in real estate. So the listing videos and the photos that we take, if we put them in a targeted ad, odds are we could come across the buyer that way. Just some kind words that talk to for both of us that show you guys people that have said, how they felt about the experience of working with us. This particular client had tried to sell his house for sale by owner, which I work with a ton of those types of clients. And it can seem appealing, right? It can seem like it's going to save you a little bit of money up front, but typically it does the exact opposite. It basically shoots you in the foot because you aren't getting that social media and digital marketing exposure. You're not in the MLS. And this client was a prime example of that. He said, you know, at first he thought selling on his own was the answer. He didn't have the showings or the offers he needed. We listed a house. We took the right steps. He took my recommendations, and we ended up netting him more money than he would have net because he got higher offers when we listed than he had he sold by himself without any help.
Yeah. Again, same situation, just another review that you can read on your on your own, just basically making sure, you know, just saying that, you know, it's a stressful process, but our goal is to make it as easy as possible for you, and know the right things to do to make it as easy as possible for you. So there's another
It's always weird reading reviews about yourself on camera. So.
And then we'll both kind of touch on this. So this is just kind of the meat of how to decide the price and timing considerations.
And why it's important to price right at first.
Exactly. So, you know, obviously we're realtors, so we're going to tell you, listen to your realtor when they tell you a price, because they've done the research, they know what they're talking about.
And it's not that we don't want you to sell.
Yes.
Everybody wants that.
Yeah, because we get more money too that way. But which I think is lost on that. But we are going to tell you an honest number that will help get you the most activity and the better terms and everything. There's, like we've said before, there are so many factors to determine the best offer. It's not always just price. It's anything that's important to you. So if it's important to you that you keep the house till June, we're going to help you achieve that goal by, you know, adjusting the price or whatever we need to do that.
Yeah.
Or if it's important to you that, you know, it goes to, I mean, I don't know,
10,000 over list.
Yeah, exactly.
20,000. There's strategies to get all those.
We're going to do everything. So if Kim can kind of go over this.
So this kind of roller coaster, it is a roller coaster, right, to begin with, but there is a roller coaster kind of graph that explains very well what your listing exposure period is like. That first 2 weeks it's incredibly important. That's when you're getting the majority of your showings. And a couple of years ago, if you were on the market for 2 weeks, people were like, what's wrong with this house? It should have been sold in 2 days.
Even last year.
5 years ago, it was normal for it to be on the market for a month. So it just, it just depends. Right now, we're kind of telling people the current state of the market is, it could be potentially a couple weeks to a month that your house is on the market, but each facet of greater Indianapolis is different. West side, you're going to be on the market a little bit longer. North side, it's going to go faster. But if you're priced wrong, the opposite's going to happen. Even if you are on the north side and you're priced way too high, you're going to sit longer and you're going to create a stale presence, right? People are going to wonder what's wrong with it. Why hasn't it sold? If it's been on the market for a few weeks, then that must mean that they have no other options and I can get a deal with them. You don't want to create that feeling. You want to price at the sweet spot so that people fight for your house. They don't scrape to you for some kind of a deal. And that's the same feeling that for sale by owners are sometimes plagued by. People are looking to them for deals. They're looking to the houses that have been on the market for a long time for deals. And, you know, I am one that absolutely believes that, because my personal home purchase, the house was on the market for 100 days. And I knew I could get a deal because of that, because they were stuck in that sludge. They had no other option. We don't want you to get in that sludge. So we want you to trust what we have to say about why we need to price it in a smart spot straight out of the gate, because your fastest moment of showings and activity and offers is going to be straight out of the gate that first 2 weeks. And then you notice that decline. So every listing is different, but generally this is a pretty good structure to follow.
And we even see things where, you know, 2 houses in the same neighborhood come up on the same weekend or the same day. So how are we going to set yours apart? So that goes into, okay, are we priced competitively? Are our pictures, you know, professional? Are we
price per square foot is key.
Exactly. And just making sure that your home stands out above the rest.
Because at the end of the day, obviously we want you to have as many offers as possible, but every buyer has an agent, and that agent is also running the same comps that we run to say, the price per square foot on this house doesn't add up. They pushed it a little high. So as your agent, because obviously that's the person looking out for their best interest, we're looking out for the seller's best interest. They're going to say, hey, I probably wouldn't offer that, because that's their job and it's our job to do the same, but there has to be a reasonable place that everybody can meet in the middle.
Yep. So that kind of sums up everything. If anybody has any questions, feel free to write them into the chat box. Oh, hold on. We got one. Let's see. If I can read it. All
Okay,
right.
Natalie has a couple
Go
questions.
ahead.
What are the benefits of working with a realtor versus online services like OfferPad and Open Door? Oh my
Yes.
gosh,
So,
we can go on and on this one.
So first of all, the realtor knows your market. They know the specific market.
A computer cannot curate what you
Yep.
need done.
Exactly. And for instance, you know, they could kind of take the snapshot of the neighborhood, but your house might be the best one in the neighborhood, or it might be have
It
some
doesn't
extra
take into
features.
account that
Yeah.
when you updated the house, that you
Exactly.
renovated, or that you didn't renovate.
Exactly. So you're typically will be losing money if you take offers that way. Yes, it seems easy. Yeah, it seems great. Like, oh, okay, it's about where I want it to anyway, and I don't have to put it in the market. I don't have to deal with the stress. But in all reality, you are missing out on some money there. They, like they said, they don't know the market like a realtor would know the market.
And so many people do, you know, you guys, I'm sure all do your own online research on this. Everybody loves to research real estate. We all click on the news articles if it applies to, you know, news that we all deal with every day. We definitely do. But you see all those companies like OfferPad, Open Door, they say sell your house, you know, cheap to us. A lot of the times they're turning around and then selling the house themselves to make a profit. So clearly there's a business plan here. There's a margin being created that could have been your margin if you allowed a real estate agent local to the area to get you the most amount of money that they're trying to capitalize on. There's a couple companies in this city that do that on a smaller scale, but they're taking a margin away from one of the parties, right? The buyer or the seller somehow. Oftentimes, those listings can be kind of difficult to get into. They're kind of complicated to schedule a showing, which is, you know, we're all busy. So agents kind of, if you're an OfferPad listing, it's kind of like one of the last houses we want to show because it's complicated to get in. It's complicated to deal with the other party because essentially you're dealing with a computer as well. And I've noticed, at least myself, like some of the conditions aren't as good, but obviously they're not priced according to that because it's all based on an algorithm that has not walked in the house and seen that condition. No buyer wants to pay a model home price for a house that is same square footage and it's in terrible condition. And OfferPad and Open Door and all those companies do not know the difference. And same with Zestimates. It's the same kind of issue plugging those.
Yep. Any other questions before we sign off? Oh, hold on.
Got another.
Okay. All right. So that's a good question. So off the top of my head, you know, I would ask, all right, have you sold in this area before? How many houses have you sold? You know, and not to say that a new agent can't be as good as someone else because they might know their facts and figures.
Because you also don't want someone managing 20 sales or 20 transactions while they're managing yours. You want specific attention.
Exactly. So I would ask, you know, what their experiences with the neighborhood, how well they know the area. And what other?
Yeah, definitely. I think there's a sweet spot as far as an agent that doesn't have too high of a workload, what kind of support they provide you. With us, obviously, we have a huge team of support when it comes to the pending process, the listing process. You will always have a shoulder to lean on and just say, okay, what are your protocols in place? You know, what if we get sick? You know, because that happens. It happens to us. Who's going to help us run up the rest of the deal? Because we have 9 other agents on our team, that's where we feel like we stand out, because if something happens to one of us, you're not going to be left hung out to dry. Your deal's still going to move smoothly. There's still a lot of parties involved helping get that transaction to the closing table. And just asking, what do you do that's different? Because we all have different offerings. For me, my social media and my video marketing and all those things I've found to be extremely successful. So that's something that I like to impress upon, that I bring out individually as a piece, as a realtor, because obviously there's hundreds of realtors to choose from. There's no question about it, that a lot of us can do a lot of the same things, but you want to figure out what the realtor that you think you're going to pick does slightly differently and how they can help improve your sale, for sure.
Exactly. All right. Any more questions, or are we good?
Oh, got one more? No?
Okay.
Thanks.
All right. Well, we just wanted to say that if you have any more questions or anything pops up, feel free to contact one of us. We'll be happy to help you. And, you know, if, you know, when you're ready to sell, we would love to
We're always
Or help you,
available.
yeah.
Call, text, email,
Exactly.
whether it's our
Mhm.
personal numbers or emails or the office or the team. You can always ask, or social media. I'm always available via social media. So is Lauren. I'm a night owl, so I'm happy to talk real estate at most hours, but especially the evening, because I know real estate never sleeps. But she's the opposite. So we got you covered for sure. Yeah. Because yeah, real estate doesn't sleep. A lot of the times we help clients on other sides of the country or in different time zones. Honestly, if you aren't even ready to sell yet, or you want to talk about buying or anything to do with the real estate process and you just want someone to talk to, we're always available just to chat. A chat is free. A consultation is free. There's no charges for you until you get paid, right, at the closing table when it comes to working with us. We're working with realtors, working with listing agents or whatever. And that's a common thing that sometimes people don't realize. There's no cost to hiring us until you meet your ultimate goal of selling your home.
Exactly. Even if you want to build a house, we can help you through that process. And again, free to you. So we have experience in all facets of real estate. So just let us know what questions you have, and we're looking forward to serving you. All right, thank you.